Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag. So this tag was originally created by AUDIOBOOKS, I believe. I will leave the original video in the description just in case you wanted to find out more. But the whole idea behind this tag is the questions relate to reading plans for the end of the year. So books that you would like to read before the end of the year and things like that. So I thought it would be quite a fun video to film now. I feel like I am a little bit late with doing this video. I've seen a few people do it already, and I think you're meant to do it in September or October, and we're now in November, but I haven't filmed a sit-down video in a while, and I'm feeling a bit rusty, so I thought I'd ease myself into it by doing a tag video because, again, I haven't done one of those in a while. So question number one is, are there any books you started this year that you still need to finish? If you go on my Goodreads at the moment, it's really confusing because I think there's currently around 6 or 7 books on my currently reading shelf. I'm not currently reading 6 or 7 books. It's just because I don't like to update Goodreads until I can link to the vlog or video where I've read certain books, and I'm filming a very long vlog at the moment. So I'm just building books and books and books on that list. I very rarely start books and don't finish them straight away. I do occasionally DNF books, but again, very rarely. There's actually only one book so far this year that I've DNF'd, and that was This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal Almota. I liked the concept behind this book, but I didn't like the writing style. It was very purple prose and very descriptive, and I found it distracting. So even though I liked the story and how we were following these two rival time travel agents and they're writing letters to each other and they're trying to outsmart each other, I really liked that. I thought it was really cool. I just didn't like the writing style, and I was finding it a real struggle to get through. So that's the only book that I've DNF'd so far this year. I'm probably not going to finish it because I didn't like the writing style, so I think it's going to be a permanent DNF. But yeah, otherwise I only have the 3 books that I'm currently reading that I need to finish. Question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So I was thinking about this recently, and I don't think I'm much of a seasonal reader. Like, I will read dark horror books in the middle of the summer when it's blazing hot outside. I mean, I will read spooky books around Halloween, and I'll read Christmas books around December, but generally I'm not really much of a seasonal reader. I mean, I was planning on filming this video back in October when the answer I would have given you is The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I did end up reading this in October, and I would say it's a pretty good seasonal read. It's a good book to transition into autumn because it's spooky, not really spooky, it's about witches, and there's this really good atmosphere. It's about these sister witches who are trying to bring back the full power of witchcraft, and it's set to the background of the suffragette movement in New Salem. And yeah, if you are looking for a recommendation for an autumnal book, then I would recommend this one. Another book I would recommend, actually, if you're looking for a really cozy read, is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is going to be one of my favourite books of the year, if not my favourite book, and I think this would be perfect to read around this time of year because it's about an orc who decides she doesn't want to be a warrior anymore. She wants to open a coffee shop in a city where they don't even know what coffee is, and it was so cozy. I read this in July, which again, like I said, I don't really read seasonally that often, but if you are a seasonal reader and you're looking for something really cozy and heartwarming, then Legends and Lattes, it's perfect. Question number 3 is, are there any new releases you're still waiting for? One of the books that I am most excited for is Ashford Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake, which comes out, I think, at the end of November, and I am so excited. I'm really hoping that I have time to read it before the end of the year. This is a companion novel to Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which is one of my favourite romances of the year. I'm really hoping that we see more of Delilah and Astrid's relationship, because I thought that their relationship in the first book was really interesting. I thought that Astrid in general was a really interesting character in the first book, and I just love complex sister relationships. You know, I love it. I think because I have sisters myself, I just enjoy reading about them. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I've seen a few people have read it already because they got arcs, and generally I think the reviews have been quite positive, so that's just made me even more excited. Question number 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And I don't have 3 books. I have like 20 books that I want to read before the end of the year, starting with all of the books that are on my series I wanted to start in 2022 list. I made that list in January and I had such high hopes that I was going to read those books, and I think I've read like half of them, if that. So I would like to try and make a dent in that list. I don't think it's going to happen. I did have plans to film a video where I react to that list and then read the books that were on it that I hadn't got around to yet. I think I'm gonna have to push that vlog to next year instead. There were so many books actually that I was anticipating this year that I just haven't got around to yet. So The No-Show by Beth O'Leary, I was really excited for this book because I've enjoyed most of Beth O'Leary's books. I didn't like The Road Trip, but I really loved The Flat Share and I really liked The Switch as well. And I've heard positive reviews for this. I think it's about 3 women who all get stood up, possibly by the same guy. Heard really good things about it, so I would like to read that next month if I get a chance. I mean, I might again end up pushing it to next year, but there are so many books on my Kindle that I've bought this year that I was so excited for when I bought them, and I've just not picked them up. So Hope to Die by Cara Hunter, which is the next book in the D.I. Adam Fawley series. I was so excited for that because I've loved all of the books in that series so far. Yeah, I've ran out of time. I mean, there is still December and I am off work between Christmas and New Year, so there might be time for me to do a lot of reading during, you know, that Christmas and New Year period, but we'll see how that goes. Question number 5 is there a book you think could shock you and become your favourite of the year? I've already mentioned Ashleigh Parker Doesn't Fail. I think there's a really good chance that I'm gonna love that book. But otherwise, I don't know. I think I tend to go into most books not expecting them to become favourites, but I don't pick up books unless I think I'm gonna love them. Actually, I was talking about this recently. I go into most books expecting them to be 4 stars, and then if I end up loving them, I round up and, well, I bump my rating up and I give them 5 stars. And then if I find them disappointing or I don't love them as much as I was expecting, that's when I bring my rating down to 3 or even 2 stars. And I was thinking, maybe that's why I struggle to give books 1 stars. Does anyone else feel that way, or am I just not making any sense? But yeah, I tend to go into most books expecting them to be 4 stars because 4 stars in my brain means that I liked a book, and I don't tend to pick up books unless I think I'm gonna like them. But I don't know whether other people think differently. I don't know, let me know anyway if that made any sense or whether I'm just rambling. I'm probably just rambling, let's be honest. I also have an arc of Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Weisner, which again, I'm convinced I'm gonna love, and I don't know why, because I've never read anything by this author before, but the plot just sounds like something I would enjoy. It's about a college student who has a one-night stand with an older woman, and then that woman turns out to be her friend's mom. So it sounds like it's gonna be really fun. It sounds like it's gonna be, yeah, funny, and I am excited for it. I've heard early reviews say that this is really steamy, and yeah, I don't know why, I'm just convinced it's going to be a new favourite romance. The final question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes, kind of. So there's a few vlogs that I really want to film next year, and obviously I have to read the books to be able to film those vlogs. There's also a few series that I would like to continue next year. I'm actually thinking next year of not starting any new series, at least for the first half of the year, unless I already own them physically or on my Kindle. I was thinking of just focusing on continuing series, because since starting BookTube, I have started many series. I don't even want to know how many, but I've not finished enough. At least I don't feel like I've finished enough. I think this year I've only finished around 5 or 6 series, but I've started a lot more than that. So my main goal for next year is to continue some series, and one of the series that's high on my list is the Throne of Glass series. I do actually own it. I should go and grab the books to hold them up. My mum got me the box set for Throne of Glass. I think it was December 2020, because I just read ACOTAR and loved it, and I was really excited to read more Sarah J Maas, and I've read the first book, I've read Throne of Glass, haven't continued, so this is going to be my priority for next year, and I'd like to read the books quite close together so that I'm not forgetting anything, because again, that's what keeps happening with series. I start them and then I leave it too long before continuing, so it reaches a point where I have to reread the first book. I don't want to reread the first book because there's so many new books that I want to read, and you see how I end up getting stressed. And reading is not meant to be stressful. I keep reminding myself that reading is meant to be fun, and yeah, I want to get back to that next year. Otherwise, I would really like to try and get through some of my Kindle TBR. So I have over 100 unread books on my Kindle that I keep forgetting about because they're on my Kindle and I don't have to look at them every day. So I would like to try and read some of those, and also because I've recently moved in with my partner and he has a massive collection of books, some of which have been on my radar for a while. I would like to try and read some of those as well. It's just, yeah, stressful. Too many books, not enough time, but I think that was the last question, so I'm gonna wrap things up here and say thanks for watching. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments what books you're excited to read before the end of the year, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, and I will see you next time. Bye!